What's up, everybody? It's Alex Leak and Friends NFL podcast back for another week. I'm your host, Alex Leak. We got Dustin on the show as always. What's up, Dustin? Good to have you.
Yeah, what's up, bro? Thanks for having me, man. Pretty good football this week.
Absolutely. A really fun week of football. The season just getting started. A lot of crazy games, crazy endings, and a lot of overreactions as well. And let's get into it. Let's start with Thursday night. Week 2 kicks off Thursday night. Chargers at the Chiefs in Arrowhead. No Keenan Allen for the Chargers. And the Chiefs survive, get a 27-24 win to get to 2-0. Justin Herbert avoids major injury. It looked, Dustin, like a broken rib or two when he first got hit, when he was down on the field. But the good news is a rib cartilage fracture, and he's not expected to miss any time. So the Chargers dodge a bullet, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. Because without him, I don't think you win very many games.
No, I mean, Chase Daniel is a good backup, but he's not Justin Herbert.
No,
Yeah.
Herbert just has that thing about him, man. Like I don't know if it's swag or just overall pure talent, but the kid is good.
Yeah, I think it's really good, unreal arm talent, and then like a real strong belief behind it, a real swag behind it, and he believes that he can make any throw, and he makes a lot of them that are like wow throws.
Yeah,
Um, with Keenan Allen out, they're going to ask a lot from Mike Williams to step up and be the number one guy, and he did. 8 catches for 113 yards and a touchdown, and a really nice one-handed scoop catch for a touchdown. Mike Williams, I mean, he's probably wide receiver one on a lot of teams. I know Green Bay and Chicago and your Colts would love to have Mike Williams.
yeah, absolutely.
um, I mean, real good game. What are your thoughts? I mean, Patrick Mahomes easily could have thrown, potentially a pick six. He could have thrown a couple of interceptions. It turns out Justin Herbert throws the pick six. What do you think of the Chiefs so far? They're 2-0. I mean, do they look as good as before, or do you think they're going to come back down to earth a little bit?
Well, I mean, they have two pretty decent victories, in my opinion. You
Mm-hmm.
know, they look explosive and pretty good. So when we were saying before the season started, we think the Chiefs are going to take a step back. I kind of feel like they might stay the same. I mean, they're not going to win the championship or nothing, but I feel like they're just as good.
I think we'll see them come back down to earth a little bit. And the division as a whole is tougher as well. And so, getting out to a good start is important. If they can get to 3-0, that would be huge. But they got a tough test coming up at your Colts in Indy at Lucas Oil Field. What any news? Any thing you've heard about? Is Michael Pittman going to play? Is Shaq Leonard almost back? What are you hearing?
So today the practice report came out. Shaq Leonard was a full go in practice. So I'm assuming that he'll be a full go on Sunday.
Yep.
Michael Pittman Jr. did a light practice along with Yannick Ngakwe and DeForest Buckner. So those guys are probably just practicing light to be ready for Sunday.
Yeah, I think they'll be good to go on Sunday. Sometimes the veterans take it a little easy, or if you're coming back off an injury, you take it a little easy. It's good news that Shaq Leonard's a full participant, absolutely. And you're going to need him, with Travis Kelce and chasing around Patrick Mahomes. So,
Yeah,
what are
he's
your,
definitely a leader.
yeah, what are your thoughts? What's your optimism going into this game at home, but against Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs?
I'm trying to be optimistic. Like the the Colts have the talent to win. It just depends on if Frank Reich's going to have him prepared to win or not.
Yeah, and it's a tough test with the Chiefs, so we'll see. I'm going to be rooting for the Colts. I want to see the Chiefs take a loss, and so we'll see if Indy can get it going. For the Chargers, they'll play at home against the Jags, and they should be able to take care of business, get to 2-1. We'll see how much that injury is going to hamper Justin Fields, but I think we both anticipate Herbert to be out there slinging it as usual.
Yeah, yep.
On Sunday, the Dolphins at the Ravens. This was a crazy game. The Ravens led 28-7, even up 35-14 going into the fourth quarter. The Dolphins would rally and win 42-38 on a game-winning touchdown pass from Tua to Jalen Waddle. Did you see this game? I mean, a crazy game, and I can't believe the Dolphins pulled this out of their ass.
Yeah, I went back through and seen some of the stuff of this game, man. I thought that the Ravens, they had a pretty decent lead, and I thought, they were going to end up winning this game. But Tua, lo and behold, pulled magic out of it, and threw some pretty good dimes.
Yeah, I mean, he throws 6 touchdowns, second most all time in a single game. Over 400 yards passing. Both Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, double-digit catches, 2 touchdowns each. Um, I mean, what are your thoughts? The Mike McDaniel, it's his first year as a rookie head coach. Tua, along with Tyreek Hill and Waddle, off to a really hot start. Do you expect the Dolphins to be this good? And they got a massive game coming up against the Bills.
Yeah, that's a huge game. And I don't, I, I mean, the Bills to me are just levels above, but Miami's good. They got talent. Mike McDaniel is so far so good. And can you believe after 2 weeks, nobody would have thought, but Tua is the leading passer in the league right now?
Wow. Yeah, I mean, they're off to a really hot start. They're balling. They did what they had to do against New England. An amazing comeback against Baltimore. Just kept fighting, never got discouraged, being down 3 scores. So credit to them. What are you going to say if the Dolphins beat Buffalo on Sunday? Is Miami then your favorite?
No, because it's you know, I I don't have Buffalo going perfect, but it's a division game and it's going to be tough. So I wouldn't be surprised that Miami's always known to go in and sneak one of those hard games.
Yeah. Um, Something about, I don't know what it is, but something about the Dolphins has me pumping the brakes a little bit. Like it's early in the season, they're off to a really good start. I've still got the Bills winning the division, so that means the Dolphins at best have to get a wild card spot to make the playoffs. I think they can make the playoffs, but this team might be a year or two away still. Do you agree?
For like a championship. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean they're definitely a year or two away from winning the division. And Josh Allen's not getting old. Josh Allen's look on pace to run that division for a while.
Yeah,
So I wonder what the ceiling is on this Dolphins team.
I mean, if the Dolphins can at least make the playoffs and maybe win a wild card, that would be huge.
Yeah, no, it would be. And so I'm gonna be, I'm not gonna go crazy on the Dolphins just yet. I want to see how they do. Let's get into November, December, and then we'll have a better idea of just who this Dolphins team is. For the Ravens, they fall to 1-1, and are at Foxborough at the Patriots next week. Tough loss here. Baltimore has to be believing that in their minds they should be 2-0. Um, and some coaching decisions went into this loss as well. So we'll see if they can bounce back and win in New England on Sunday. That's not an easy place to go and win.
No, no, it's not. And Lamar did play well on Sunday, though. I mean, we can't take that away from them.
Honestly, I feel like the Ravens did plenty enough to win this game. I honestly put a lot of blame on head coach John Harbaugh for why they lost. They were a little too aggressive early on, going for it on fourth down, a turnover on downs. Just some situational stuff that really came back to bite Baltimore in the end, I think. And they didn't really do a good job of putting the Dolphins away.
Yeah, I agree.
So we'll see. I expect the Ravens to win, And Bills Dolphins is going to be a must watch game. A lot of eyes need to be on that. See how each team performs against each other.
Do you know if that's a 1 o'clock game or 4 o'clock game?
I believe it's a 1 o'clock, but I can look real quick. Um, I think both of these are 1 o'clock games.
Because they'll probably play Colts and Chiefs over where we stay at. I was just,
Yeah, but I'll send you the streaming sites so you can watch that.
oh
Or
yeah,
you've got the streaming on your phone too. Um, both games are at 1 p.m. Yeah,
okay, man, those are gonna be some damn good games.
absolutely. So let's go to Jets Browns. Looking at this on paper, we weren't too excited about it. The Joe Flacco versus Jacoby Brissett matchup, but it turned out to be a great game. This is a prime opportunity for the Browns to get out to a 2-0 start, with the backup quarterback. And I felt like they had this in the bag, and they had a 30-17 lead with less than 2 minutes to go and blow it. Did you see the end of this game?
I did, man. And how about Mr. Joe Flacco?
Joe Flacco out here throwing for over 300 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, that really shocked me.
And we were singing the praises of this Browns defense just last week. Maybe, I mean, what do you think? I mean, they completely left Corey Davis uncovered, for like a one-score touchdown, and then they couldn't make a stop on the final drive. I mean, the Browns defense really choked this one away more than anybody else.
Yeah, I have to agree. You just can't let that happen.
No, I mean, Flacco hasn't been elite since like 2013. So I don't know what the Browns were doing. They allow an onside kick recovery as well, and those numbers are so rare. Those are so hard to pull off. So I mean, the momentum swung, and the Jets took advantage of it. Huge win for the Jets. That's just the NFL, bro. That's why we love it because on paper everything was pointing to the Browns, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, the NFL, it could give you some of the greatest games ever.
Yeah,
You know, it's just weird.
absolutely. So for the Browns, they'll be at home tomorrow night against the Mitch Trubisky led Steelers. Both teams 1-1. Trubisky against Jacoby Brissett. Who are you leaning? Who are you thinking about picking to win this game?
I'm gonna go Cleveland.
Okay, I'm gonna go Steelers. But it should be a hell of a game. It's a big game, really, for both teams, and I think more so for the Steelers. The Steelers should have won on Sunday, and they need to go into Cleveland and get this win. But it's a big game. It's a rivalry game. It's going to be heated. You never know what can happen in these rivalry games.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then on Sunday, all right, the 0-2 Bengals. I never would have thought we'd be saying that at the 1-1 Jets. This has to be the game Cincinnati gets a win, right?
Oh yeah, it's gonna have to be because if you can't beat the Jets, oh boy, it's gonna be a long season, and they're gonna look back and be like, "Well, last year's run was pretty fluky."
Yeah, it's pretty crazy that they're out to an 0-2 start, and we'll be talking more about the Bengals here shortly. But they better take care of business in New York. Otherwise, if they start 0-3, it's gonna get ugly in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Let's go to the Commanders and the Lions. In Detroit, the Lions jump out to a 22-0 halftime lead, hang on to win 36-27. You were right when you said last week there you get good Carson Wentz and you get bad Carson Wentz, and a really slow start. Had the Commanders in a 22-0 hole, and that's hard to climb out of.
Yeah, yeah, it is. And I mean, are you gonna give credit to Detroit or
Not really. I mean, sure they got to win. That's cool, but I don't. I think the Commanders played like shit, and I put a lot of blame for this on the Commanders head coach Ron Rivera. Really bad game management in the fourth quarter. They score, and it's 29-21. You kick the extra point, it's 29-22. I'm doing that every time. For whatever reason, tell me if you get this. Down 8, would you ever go for 2? Or are you just going to kick the extra point and make it 7?
Oh, I'm definitely gonna kick the extra point and make it 7.
So I didn't understand it. The analysts calling the game, the color commentators, they didn't understand it. They go for 2 and fail, and they score again. Now they're down what, 36-21. They score again. They decide to kick the extra point this time, and they miss it. So now they're down 9 points, down 2 scores, and you're not going to overcome that. So I thought some coaching really led to, bad game management by Ron Rivera. And this isn't the first time. I think I've called Ron Rivera out, 3 of the last 4 years for bad game management. What do you
Yeah,
think? What do you think on that?
yeah, it was, and you can't have that when you're trying to win ball games.
Look, I'll give Detroit some credit, but anytime the opponent, puts up 0 points in the first half, I just think that the Commanders came out. They didn't even have a first down for like most of the first half. I just felt like they came out sleepwalking, much like your Colts have the last 2 first halves this season.
Yeah, yeah. To me, Detroit though, man, I think they're actually pretty good.
I
Uh,
mean, how so? Like, do you trust Jared Goff?
yeah. It's not that I trust Jared Goff, man. I trust their run game. DeAndre Swift looked pretty good these last couple weeks.
I mean, he's good. He's talented, and they got Amon-Ra St. Brown who tore it up on Sunday. But to me, I mean, I think it just falls on Jared Goff, and I think Goff is going to cost you some wins down the road. He's going to throw a couple games away, and Stafford's a better quarterback than Goff, and I just feel like in no way in hell is Goff going to lead you to the playoffs.
Oh man, I don't think he'll lead to the playoffs, but like I said, man, 6 or 7 wins is definitely to me a successful season for Detroit, and I think that's what they can get to.
Well, that's fine. I agree with you there, but 6 or 7 wins, I don't think makes for a good team. That's I think where we're disagreeing is that you're saying I think they're a pretty good team, but then you only have them winning 6 or 7 games. They're trending in the right direction, but overall, that's a bottom half of the league team.
Okay, maybe I should say it this way: for that franchise, they're going to believe that that's a pretty good team because of their history.
That's fine, and trending in the right direction. I totally understand that, but I just when you say 6 or 7 wins is a good team, that's what sends me for a loop. But maybe in Detroit, that is a good team. Um, but credit to Jared Goff. He did throw 4 touchdown passes. Amon-Ra St. Brown. Let me say this, Dustin. Amon-Ra St. Brown is what Bears fans think Equinemius St. Brown is. He's an actual stud.
Yeah, he's pretty good, but man, you got to quit sleeping on his brother just a little bit.
No, no. I tweeted this today or yesterday. I said anytime the Bears' leading target getter is Equinemius St. Brown, I don't care if you've got Aaron Rodgers or you got Tom Brady. If your leading target getter is Equinemius St. Brown, you're not winning shit. I'm just being honest. Equinemius on any legit roster in NFL, Equinemius St. Brown is at best wide receiver number 4. And the Bears treating him like he's wide receiver number 1 right now.
Yeah, I mean, and Amon Ra is definitely way better, and he's a pretty good athlete too.
Absolutely. And then your boy Aiden Hutchinson has a breakout game, records 3 sacks. So nice to see him get it going.
Yeah, welcome to the league, Aiden. Pretty good game.
Absolutely. So Lions at Vikings on Sunday. Both teams 1-1. Give me the Vikings at home.
I'm going for the Lions in an upset.
All right. Do you think that's gonna happen, or you're rooting for that?
I think that that's going to happen because, man, Kirk Cousins had a very bad game on Monday.
Yeah,
And
but it changes. It's a week to week league. I don't expect Kirk Cousins to have a bad game on Sunday.
it does. But me personally, I just don't trust Kirk Cousins.
All right. Well, you don't trust Kirk Cousins. I don't trust Jared Goff. Let me go ahead and make it interesting early in this podcast. This is my guarantee of the week in week 3, Vikings over Lions.
Oh, okay.
um, and then for the Commanders, they fall to 1-1. They'll be at home against the Eagles. Big game early in the season for the Commanders because if they lose, they'll already be down 2 games to the Eagles. So Carson Wentz going up against his old team. Big game for Washington on Sunday.
Yeah, Washington's going to need good Carson, most definitely.
I think because it's against his old team, I think we get good Carson. But do you think it's enough to get the win?
I don't, man, because I was really impressed with the Eagles on Monday, and their offense. And let me tell you, the best thing Philadelphia ever did was go get AJ Brown.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I agree 100% on that statement. I'm leaning Commanders. I think the Commanders might steal this one. But we'll get into that more in a little bit. But that's going to be another must-watch game. Let's go to your Eagle or your Colts at the Jags. 7 straight losses in Jacksonville for Indy. First of all, why in the hell is that happening? Like the Jags haven't been this powerhouse team the last 7 years. Why is it, in your opinion, that the Colts can't get over that hump and win in Jacksonville?
Man, I haven't figured that out. I do not know what is going on. Uh, it seems like the Colts must have did something bad when they were there after 2014 because they haven't won since, and it's crazy to me.
I mean, it's very similar to the Bears in Lambeau, but in Lambeau is much different than in Jacksonville.
Yeah, most it's not even a hostile environment.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but I mean, after a while, after a couple losses, maybe it gets in your head a little bit, and I think that's where it is right now with Indy. Is it's kind of in their head in Jacksonville, or maybe against Jacksonville. I don't know, but bro, the last 3 games I've seen of the Colts, going back to week 18 of last year and then the first 2 weeks this year, that offense needs some help. I don't know what it is, but and Frank Reich's got to be on the hot seat. He's the offensive play caller, but whether it was Carson Wentz last year or Matt Ryan this year, it doesn't seem like much has changed. That offense can't get going, and I'm one of those that agrees with you that Jonathan Taylor is the best running back in football. But why is the offense struggling so much?
Well, it comes down to two things. One is play calling, and two is preparation. I mean, and preparation at the end of the day comes down on the coaching staff.
Yep.
And I mean, you can't go out there and expect to win a game when you okay, you have a good drive. 1st and 10, you get to 2nd and 5, and then a dumb penalty, a false start. Then before you can even snap the ball again, you have back-to-back false starts. I mean, come on now. That's all about preparation at that point.
Yeah, it ultimately all falls on the head coach, right? When it comes down to preparation, having your players mentally ready to go and go get that win, having the right game plan and the right play calling and the right in-game adjustments, halftime adjustments, because we saw it week 1 when the Colts got shut out in the first half and they were down 17-0, but they made halftime adjustments, clawed back into that game and forced overtime. But we saw none of that on Sunday because they got shut out in the first half, and it just, in my opinion, panicked in the second half and got out of their game plan. You know, sometimes when you're getting shut out, a field goal is the best thing that can happen for you because you finally get on the board and it's like a hurdle. You know what I mean? You finally get some points up. You understand what I'm saying?
Yep, I do.
And Frank Reich and the Colts seemed so determined to that a field goal wasn't good enough for them. They were going to go for it on downs twice and have two turnover on downs in the second half. A field goal could have helped a lot. You know, all it is trying to get the momentum to swing back your way a little bit. And you never know. And plus, 24 points, you need a field goal in there at some point, right?
Yeah, I mean, man, I don't even. I mean, could we even get in field goal range?
You did in the second half. The first
Yeah,
half was really ugly, but the second half, you started moving the ball. It just, you know, two interceptions by Matt Ryan and two turnovers on downs. That's four drives in the second half that ended in turnovers.
and I mean, give credit to the Jags D though, man. They were bringing it. Trayvon Walker and
Josh
especially Josh
Allen.
Allen. Josh
Yeah.
Allen.
Yeah. Not the Bills Josh Allen either, the Jags Josh Allen.
Yeah.
Two sacks and a forced fumble. Are you feeling any doubts about Matt Ryan after a three interception day?
No, I'm not because I still feel like he's the guy, and he just had a bad day. But technically, it's all about the game plan. They
Yeah.
they they weren't playing to what Matt Ryan can do. They wanted him
Well,
to. You couldn't
yeah.
run the ball, and you wanted him to throw the ball 100 times.
Well, two things there. I mean, it definitely hurt not having Michael Pittman and Alec Pierce. So his number one target was that Doolin, and Doolin's not going to get it done. I don't know where Paris Campbell was non-existent. So that is going to hinder you. And then what the hell happened with Jonathan Taylor? Why did he only get 9 carries? I know you're down 24. They're down 17 for most of that. You can't abandon the game plan. You can't stop feeding your best player, right?
No, absolutely not.
So,
It's just Frank, man. But let me tell you, I've heard some things that Frank's relationship with Ballard and Ursay is kind of like what Jason Garrett was with Jerry Jones,
yeah.
where they're
Yeah.
close and he's going to keep getting chance after chance after chance.
Well, we'll see. I mean, if they lose on Sunday, they'll be 0-2-1. You know, they got off to a slow start. Remember last year, I believe they got out to a 1-4 start. And that may have played a major role, probably did play a major role in why the Colts didn't make the playoffs, you know?
Yeah, because we had to go on like a 9 game win streak to or 8 game win streak to even have a chance.
Yeah. So, looking down the barrel of another slow start this year. So the seat for Frank Reich has to be getting hot. It absolutely has to. And I think you'll agree with me. If the Colts don't make the playoffs this year, Frank Reich's got to go.
Yes, yep, I agree.
So we'll see. I agree with you that a lot of blame goes on Frank Reich, and they don't get any kind of a break because a major game coming up. We just talked about it. Kansas City Chiefs at the Colts. If they fall to 0-2-1, that's not going to be good. So a big opportunity. You beat the Chiefs on Sunday, and all the critics will shut the hell up. But a loss on Sunday, and it's just going to get louder and louder. You know?
Yeah, I wanted to be there so bad, but unfortunately, ticket prices wouldn't drop. So at this point, I can't afford it. But I'm
Yeah,
definitely gonna be having it on the TV.
yeah, me too. A big time game. For the Jags, they'll go to the Chargers. I expect the Chargers to win that. Trevor Lawrence looking pretty damn good. He seems well on his way to developing into that franchise quarterback Jacksonville needs. I mean, I think Trevor Lawrence has a really high potential. He's a superstar in the making, in my opinion. Do you agree? He looked
Oh,
great on Sunday.
I agree, and he has the perfect coach too.
Yeah, Doug Peterson.
Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of people or some people aren't big on Peterson, but I like Peterson. I think he's a man for the Jags job.
I think he's good. I think he fits Trevor Lawrence well. I think there's better out there like Sean Payton, Kyle Shanahan, Sean McVay, but that's not insult at Doug Peterson at all. He's earned it, you know.
Yep.
Let's go Bucks Saints. The Bucks. So me and you are thinking this is here where the Saints get a big win, because Tampa Bay always struggles in New Orleans, or even against the Saints in the regular season. But they go in and get a big 20-10 win, and Tom Brady was frustrated at times in this game, and it's funny because it was a low scoring defensive battle, a lot of field goals, but then Tom Brady finally broke through and got a big touchdown.
Yeah. This was just your classic rivalry game.
Yeah, a
Good
lot of
defense.
lot of hatred, hard fought. Yeah,
Yeah, and me, I kind of like a good little fight on a football field. To me, it just shows that it's so emotional.
yeah, yeah, and credit. I mean, Mike Evans gets suspended one game for the fight, but credit to Mike Evans, honestly, because he's there defending his superstar quarterback, and you could read his lips as he's getting thrown out or whatever. He's like, "That's Tom Brady. What the fuck am I supposed to do?"
Yeah, that right there would make me feel good if I was Tom Brady.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think it's good to see out of Mike Evans. Marshawn Lattimore is not innocent in this. He was talking a lot of shit there too. So we can't just put all the blame on Mike Evans. This is football. Sometimes tempers get the best of people out there.
Yeah, and this ain't the first time Lattimore's pissed somebody off, right?
No, Lattimore and Mike Evans have history of going at each other, and Lattimore is a talker. Ask anybody. Going all the way back to Ohio State, Lattimore's always been barking.
I mean,
Um,
he's pretty good.
yeah, he is. Jameis Winston throws three interceptions, including a 68-yard pick six, which I think played a big role in this. The Saints have an excellent defense, and they've got a pretty good offense. The one big thing that they have to keep an eye on is is Jameis Winston not turning the ball over.
Yeah, that's what's gonna hold New Orleans back if that keeps happening.
Yeah, and so that'll be just something to keep an eye on. I fully expect the Saints team is talented enough to make the playoffs. So then it's how does Jameis play in the biggest games in the playoffs? So um, Cole Beasley, we talked about him last week, maybe going to Green Bay or to Indy, and he gets picked up by the Tampa Bay Bucks. How do you feel about that?
Rich get richer.
Yeah, but I mean, he's available. Why are the Bucks, who are absolutely loaded in talent, already have Julio Jones, Godwin, Evans, Scotty Miller, Brashad Perriman? Why are they being active and going and getting Cole Beasley? Meanwhile, the Packers and the Colts are just sitting there.
Because they want to win. That's why.
Man, I feel like the Packers and Colts want to win too, but you got to be active. You got to go get better. And I don't know what some of these teams are doing. I love it if I'm a Tampa Bay fan, though.
Yeah, and I mean, I disagree in a way about the Colts wanting to win. They have done nothing this offseason to even better that team. So,
I would disagree on one aspect. They went and got Matt Ryan.
oh well, yeah. Besides that, but like, I mean, what are you gonna do? Have Matt Ryan throwing to, the air? I mean, come on now. You have to get at least one big name. Why would you disrespect T.Y. Hilton, who has been your franchise guy, number one for a very long time, and not go give him the contract he deserves?
Yeah, I agree on that. It's like if you're gonna go get Matt Ryan, you should also go get some more weapons to help him and to make his job even easier. What did the Bucks do when they got Tom Brady? Surrounded him, added more and more, added Leonard Fournette, Antonio Brown, brought in Gronk. That's the type of mindset you need to have when you bring in a guy like Matt Ryan and are gonna quote unquote go all in.
Yep, exactly.
So I agree. Shaq Barrett has a good game, two sacks and a forced fumble. For the Saints, they'll be at the 0-2 Panthers on Sunday. Big game again because the Panthers are struggling and the Saints, don't want to fall to 1-2. So both teams need a win.
Yeah, I'm going New Orleans.
Yeah, in Carolina, I'm rooting for the Panthers in this game. So we'll see. I mean, I don't want to see the Panthers start 0-3. So it's going to be a really good game. And then this is the game I'm looking forward to on Sunday. The 4:25 kickoff, 1-1 Green Bay Packers at the 2-0 Bucks. Aaron Rodgers versus Tom Brady. That's a must-watch football.
Yes, it is. Yes.
And I don't think I need to tell you who I've got winning that one.
Yeah, I already know, but you should already know who I have winning it.
I mean, I don't. You got Green Bay?
I do.
I mean, I hate it. I feel sorry for you catching all these early season L's, Dustin. I don't want to see you do this to yourself.
Look, for our listeners out there, I am knowledgeable. I promise. It's
Over here picking Detroit and Green Bay to win.
I feel pretty confident in the Packers. I mean, they they've lost, their opener for a few years now, and then after that, they rebound and start beating people up.
Well, and this is a big test. If they can go into Tampa Bay and steal a win, then more power to them, and I'll have to shut up. But I think Tampa Bay gets to 3-0 and Green Bay falls to 1-2, and then you're going to hear the criticism in Green Bay, and it's not really on Aaron Rodgers. It's on where's the weapons around him.
Yep,
I
exactly.
mean, you switch Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady, and who you picking? Like put Aaron Rodgers on the Bucks with those weapons, and put Tom Brady on the Packers with those weapons. Who are you picking
I'm picking the Bucks to beat the Bills in the Super Bowl.
this this year? Like, oh, you're saying
No,
with Aaron Rodgers?
yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm picking the Bucks to win the Super Bowl with Tom Brady, so he's got a couple more. But anyways, that's gonna be a hell of a game. Can't wait for Packers Bucks, and me and Dustin will be talking tons of shit during, leading up to it, and after. So
that's
stay
got to
tuned for that. Huh?
that's got to be America's Game of the Week on Fox, isn't it?
Oh yeah, and I'm sure that's Greg Olson on the call. Used to be Troy Aikman, what's his name, Joe Buck, but now it's gonna be Burkhart and Greg Olson.
Oh man, it sucks that we had to lose two legends on Fox.
That's all good. Now we got him on ESPN on Monday night. But anyways, um, Panthers at Giants. The Giants pull out a big win, 19-16. Graham Gano hits the game-winning 56-yard field goal to beat his former team. Um, how about the New York Giants, Dustin? 2-0 to start the year.
Yeah, Brian Dable has them boys winning so far. And
Yeah, I think you can see a little bit of it in the offense too, like a little bit of swag in the play calling.
yeah, to me it's a whole different Giants team.
And you know what's part of it? I know Brian Dable is going to get a lot of credit. You know who's a really big part of the Giants' success earlier this year?
Who's that?
Saquon Barkley.
Oh yeah, for sure. I actually have it here that he had another big rushing game.
Yeah, two in a row now.
Yep.
And so, and Daniel Jones is doing just enough. And he had two turnovers week one, still got the win. He was turnover free on Sunday. If Daniel Jones can protect the ball and Saquon Barkley can run the ball, and they're 2-0 without still have yet to play this season their two best pass rushers, Azeez Ojolari and the rookie Kayvon Thibodeau.
Yeah, I think the Giants are gonna have a big turnaround year.
And I can't wait personally for Monday Night Football Week 3. Cowboys at the Giants, an opportunity for the Giants to get to 3-0 for the first time since 2009, and I think they can do it.
Yeah, who do they have on Monday?
Cowboys.
Oh yeah, give me the Giants.
And that, I mean, that's going to be a hype game. And Cooper Rush is going to get the start. And you look at it on paper, you say advantage Giants, but Cooper Rush is 2-0 as a starter. So either Cooper Rush is going to be 3-0 as a starter, or the Giants are going to be 3-0. So headlines, storylines coming out of that game are going to be really good.
Yeah, oh man, I can't wait for it.
One thing to keep an eye on in New York with the Giants, wide receiver Kenny Galladay upset over only playing 2 snaps on Sunday. Says, quote, he doesn't agree with the decision, and he's upset about it. What do you think? How is the best way to handle the Kenny Galladay situation? Play him more or move on from him?
Play him more.
Yeah.
You definitely cannot get rid of somebody of that caliber.
Well, one way or the other. If you're not going to play him, then you don't want a pissed off player in your locker room. So either play him or get some compensation for him, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's crazy that they're not playing him.
Yeah, and I mean, what do you think? You put Kenny Galladay on the market right now. Do you think Green Bay or Indy might be interested,
Hell yeah, I would
or
love
maybe
Kenny Galladay in Indy.
yeah, or maybe even Chicago? I mean, a lot of teams need weapons, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. Um, Saints Panthers. We talked about that. Cowboys Giants Monday night. That's going to be a lot of fun. Let's go to Patriots Steelers, where the Patriots go into I don't even know what it's called right now, but I'm gonna call it Heinz Field because that's what it is. It's like Acrisure or something, but it's Heinz Field. Um, and the Patriots stunned the Steelers 17-14. Uh, T.J. Watt, in my opinion, this is what I noticed: the Steelers' defense isn't as good without T.J. Watt. You know what I mean? And they couldn't force a stop late in that game, so they need TJ Watt back soon, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. He's the leader of that defense and the best player on the defense.
Yeah, on the team in my opinion. And he's only out, he doesn't need surgery on that pec. So he's out like 4 weeks and he can probably come back by then. So that's the good news. Um, I felt like the Steelers, this was a sloppy game on both sides. And one of the things that I think is holding the Steelers back is they have yet to get Najee Harris going. He hasn't had a big game yet in 2 games this season, and he needs to get going. I know he's got like a lingering injury, but the Steelers, in order to be a playoff team, they need Najee Harris, right?
Oh yeah, most definitely, because you know he's your lead back, and he's going to be the one that's going to be the workhorse.
Yeah. Um, I didn't think it was a bad game from Trubisky. He's getting a lot of the criticism, and that's because a lot of people want Kenny Pickett. They see like a better upside out of Kenny Pickett, but I wouldn't rush to bring in Pickett. You're only 1-1, and I feel like the Steelers can go get a win in the dog pound and get to 2-1. If I'm the Steelers, I wait to bring in Pickett until the season's pretty much lost. If I'm 3-6, 3-7, and it's obvious we're not gonna do anything, then let's give Kenny Pickett the rest of the reps. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree, and I mean, you know, Kenny Pickett is going to be good, but as of now, Mitch Trubisky is the veteran and the guy who you trust to run the offense at the moment, and that's what Mike Tomlin feels, And I'm gonna believe anything if I was a Steelers fan, whatever Mike Tomlin believes is best for the football team.
Yeah, absolutely. He's earned it, and they had a quarterback competition for a reason, and Trubisky won it. So I wouldn't panic 2 weeks into the season like Matt Nagy did a couple years ago. I would stay the course and see how it plays out and make my decision. You got 18 weeks to make your decisions. You know what I mean? You don't have to panic week 2.
Yeah, and they didn't get blown out or nothing. So
And to me, one of the biggest reasons for this loss, one of the big things that hurt them, was punter Gunnar Olszewski fumbling a punt and the Patriots recovering it and getting a touchdown out of it. It was a 10-6 game before that fumble, you know.
yeah.
So and that's against his former team. Maybe Bill Belichick's paying Gunnar to go help his team out with that fumbled punt.
Oh, let's not start the conspiracy theories now. I'm just
um, Steelers Browns on Thursday night. Hell of a game. Can't wait for that. Ravens at Patriots. Any chance the Patriots can win in Foxborough against Baltimore? I mean,
I mean,
Lamar Jackson, the Ravens are so explosive, but I think it'll be a good game. Do you?
I do, but there's always a chance. But man, hopefully the Ravens can learn from their mistake of after losing a big lead and everything. I just see the Ravens it being close for the first half, maybe three quarters, and then the Ravens just explode.
Yeah, we'll see. I think it'll be a better game than that. I think it comes down to the wire. At Foxborough, always tough to play. The Patriots defense pretty good, and we'll see how the Ravens look. But and the Ravens need to be fired up after that bad loss, bad blown lead to Miami.
Well, I seen on Twitter, bro, that Pablo was talking about something about Lamar with his arm. Is have you heard anything? Is there an issue with his arm?
Something about his elbow, but I don't think it's major. They were just taking it easy on him. I think a light practice. So I don't think it's anything major. It made some news, but he looked great on Sunday, so I'm not too worried about it.
All right, well then we can just consider that a shout out to Pablo then.
Yeah, and another shout out. I think I'm going on Pablo's podcast tomorrow.
Oh, have fun, bro. Good luck.
Yeah, he said it should be a pretty good one, so I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, it's always fun talking football with Pablo, and we got to get him on our show here soon as well.
Yes.
Let's go Falcons at Rams. The Rams jump out to a 28-3 lead. Everything going to plan. The Rams should blow out Atlanta, right? But then the Falcons get back into it, and the Rams survive 31-27. To their credit, the Falcons have been a lot more competitive so far this year than I thought they would be.
Yeah, and to me, that's Marcus Mariota's being slept on so far.
Yes and no. He's doing a good job, and one thing that I would you know, keep an eye on. He had 3 turnovers, so that was part of why they lost. One thing, Kyle Pitts is not really getting used so far by Mariota and the Falcons. Back-to-back games of just 2 catches for 19 yards.
Yeah, that is what has uh surprised me a lot. Is he not getting open or you
I
know?
just think he's been kind of phased out. They seem to be targeting Drake London a lot more. And I don't know why. Kyle Pitts is an absolute monster. Honestly, I'd rather throw it to Kyle Pitts than Drake London, but it's very close. Drake London's very good.
Yeah, Drake London is good, and I said that when we did the draft coming out of USC, man, because when he came to Notre Dame, dude, he was unguardable.
Yeah, I mean, you think about it, the Packers could have Drake London right now.
The Packers could have Drake London, Traylon Burks.
Yeah, so many guys.
I don't know what's wrong with that organization, but
um, I mean, so the Falcons dropped to 0-2. This is my question. You like what Mariota's done so far, but how long do you go with Mariota? Do you go with him the full season, or do you look to get Desmond Ritter in there at some point?
um, I I've actually been predicting. I don't think they go with Mariota the full season because I think this is like you were saying, kind of like a Mitchell, a Mitchell. Sorry about that, Mitchell Trubisky situation where like if the season's lost, just play Ritter.
Yeah, and I think Atlanta's much more likely to have a lost season than Pittsburgh. Like
Yeah,
I was predicting the Falcons to go like 2-15 or 3-14, and they've been in the games, they've been close games, but they're not getting it done, and that's kind of like they look good, but they're still losing. You know what I mean?
yeah, and if they do go 2-15, they may finish at the bottom of the league, and that right there would show that they're probably not going to go get a quarterback. They're probably more likely going to get Will Anderson Jr. out of Alabama.
Man, so you got Mariota, you got Desmond Ritter, you got the number one overall pick. Anything in your mind thinking maybe, man, CJ Stroud sitting right there?
No, because Desmond Ritter is, you know, the guy that you drafted to, in my opinion, be the future, and he hasn't even had a chance. So, you know,
That's why looking back on it, I kind of agree with like not taking a quarterback last year in the draft. Man, I would wait until this upcoming year because there's multiple quarterbacks coming out that I feel strongly about more so than a lot of these guys that came out last year regarding Ritter or Pickett or Malik Willis.
yeah, and call me crazy, but in my opinion, Stroud's not the best in that draft class. It's going to be Will Levis
Okay.
out of
I
Kentucky.
think I've been hearing Stroud, but we'll see on Levis. That's a good early call by you. We'll keep an eye on that. Cooper Cup out to a hot start, 24 catches, 3 touchdowns this season already. Any concern for you from this? You know I'm going to bring it up. You probably saw the stats and it's like, oh, Alex is going to talk about this. Through 2 games of the season, Matthew Stafford has thrown more interceptions than touchdowns. 4 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Are you worried at all about Stafford early in the year?
Yeah. After those stats, I really am.
You know, he won against Atlanta, but the turnovers are a thing. And he led the league, tied for second in the league in interceptions last year, tied for I believe it was tied for the most. So I don't know. It's something to keep an eye on for sure.
Yeah. You were right though. You called it early. You said that Stafford could be have the chance to be a turnover machine.
Well, we'll see. It's early still, and they play at the Cardinals on Sunday. So Stafford versus Kyler Murray. This is actually a really fun matchup, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
I mean, the Cardinals could steal it, and then you'd have the Rams starting 1-2. Who do you think wins that?
Oh
At
man.
Arizona.
At Arizona, you know what? Give me Arizona, man, because I think that that was a very nice comeback against Vegas.
Yeah. Um. You know what? I'm gonna predict a tie. Give me a tie
Really?
for that.
Really?
Yeah. I'm not picking either of those teams. Tie. Falcons at Seahawks. Give me, man, two bad teams in my opinion. Give me Seattle in a close game, like a one-score win.
You know what? After last week's performance, I think you said it best. Gino has come back down to earth,
Yep.
and you know what? Give me Atlanta to get their first win.
All right, and let's talk about Seattle. They went to San Francisco to take on the Niners. Trey Lance suffers a broken ankle early in this game, out for the season. We talked a little bit about this on the Monday overreaction episode, but you know, it really, I mean, San Francisco, imagine if the Niners had traded Jimmy G, like everyone in the media was telling them to do. Trade Jimmy G, and it's Trey Lance's team now. You can't keep Jimmy G because then you're sending the message to the entire league that we don't trust Trey Lance, right? But they were able to somehow work it out with Jimmy G to accept a backup role. And just like that, week 2, Trey Lance's season is over. Now the 49ers look like geniuses by keeping Jimmy G, right?
Yeah, and honestly, I was gonna say this is the best move by a GM I have seen in a while.
Yeah.
Uh Kudos to John Lynch.
Yep. And Kyle Shanahan too. They're both, working hand in hand on these moves. And that's why I say it all the time. I trust John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan more than almost anyone in the league. They've proven it.
Yeah, and with a defense like the 49ers, man, look out because Jimmy G is a winner. It's not like you have a downgrade coming in.
Yeah, Jimmy G came in and provided a spark, and they put up 27 points, and his teammates seemed to love it. Debo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk and his guys had big old smiles on their face when Jimmy G after the game and stuff. And so I think, we all know they've been to the conference championship 2 out of the last 3 years. Give me the Niners to win that division, bro. As long as Jimmy G stays healthy, I like this team going forward.
Yeah, I like it now even better. And that's not saying Trey Lance ain't talented, but I just think right now at the moment Jimmy G brings a different type of talent,
Yeah.
and Kyle Shanahan is going to know that he he's not going to be able to operate with a full playbook, but he knows Jimmy G very well.
Well, and someone broke this down for me really well. They said that when Trey Lance was in there, the game plan was to build the offense around Trey Lance, right?
Yep.
When Trey Lance is gone and it's Jimmy G in there, the offense isn't built around Jimmy G. The offense is built around the playmakers, Debo Samuel, the running backs, Elijah Mitchell and those guys, George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk. And that's when you see the offense really take off is when they were trying to develop Trey Lance. They don't have to worry about developing Jimmy G. They know who he is, so they can build the offense around those weapons now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Who broke that down? That sounded pretty fire.
Yeah. I'll have to look. I think it was on Twitter. But if I remember it, I'll let people know.
Yeah, that sounded cool.
Yeah, it was a really good breakdown. It might have been that Brian Baldinger or someone like that. Maybe Chris Crocker. I'm not sure, but I'd have to look it up. Yeah, Seattle comes back down to earth. Their only score comes on a blocked field goal return for touchdown. Um, Seattle looks like how I expect them to look. That week one, I tried to tell everyone that was an overreaction, a win that they pulled out of their ass, and I don't see them. I think the Seahawks are a solid 5-12 team this year. So Sunday made sense to me.
Yeah, and 5-12, and I think they're going to use the draft to get them a quarterback.
Yeah, yep. Falcons at Seahawks. Um, it's in Seattle. Give me the Seahawks. They got a good home field. I don't trust either of these teams. So,
I'm going to go with Atlanta.
all right. And then the big game here, 49ers at Broncos. I believe this is Sunday night football. So, Jimmy G against Russell Wilson. This feels like an NFC West matchup, but now he's in Denver. Man, the Broncos have started the season so slow on offense, but I saw signs on Sunday that it's starting to get going. And I believe Sunday night against the Niners, maybe they start to get that offense going more. Give me Denver in that game.
Ooh, you know what? I'm going to go 49ers because having Jimmy G, man, I really like Jimmy G. I wish he would have ended up in Indy, man. Give me him over Matt Ryan.
Yeah. And let's go into this. Let's stay on the topic with Denver a little bit and Russell Wilson. So they beat the Texans 16-9, and their defense really is what's carrying them right now. Their defense kept them in it against Seattle, and their defense definitely kept them in it against Houston. While the offense is getting going, the offense is developing that chemistry between Russell Wilson and Cortland Sutton and Jerry Jeudy and Javante Williams. Um, they're able to get the win, but they're showing signs of life on offense. And Cortland Sutton is getting the majority of those targets. And wearing that number 14, he just looks like DK Metcalf out there. Him and Russell Wilson.
Yeah, absolutely. And Wilson is going to be the guy to also make them look better.
Yeah, yep. And so I expect them to keep getting better. That's why I expect good things out of them this Sunday night against San Francisco. But that's a good defense they're going against. One thing they need to work on is get Jerry Judy more involved. Just one catch on Sunday for Jerry Judy.
Yeah, Jerry Judy is going to be huge, in my opinion, to determine the success of that offense. Also, how do you feel about their two-headed running back tandem? Do you think they should just go with one with Javonte Williams, or do you think they should continue to use both him and Melvin Gordon?
I'm cool with both. I think they're both talented. A lot of people want to go Javante Williams over Melvin Gordon, but either way you look at it, if Melvin Gordon's your running back number two, that's a hell of a running back two. That's a hell of a backup. So I'm fine with getting both of them touches. I just want to see them hang on to the ball. Those two fumbles, back to back fumbles against Seattle, you can't have that.
Yeah,
And I remember Melvin Gordon doing something similar to that against the Chiefs last year. So if Melvin Gordon continues to fumble the ball, then take some touches away from him. But if he can protect the ball, he's a solid running back. Just I know we all know how good Javante is, but Melvin Gordon's not bad either.
yeah, I agree.
And you're seeing that, you look at Indy, they have two running backs. My Bears have two running backs. Detroit's got two. Green Bay's got two. Minnesota's got two. You look around the league, most teams have two running backs, and they both get touches.
Yeah.
So I'm cool with that. The Texans, so they fall to 0-1-1 and will be at my Bears. So Lovey Smith at the Bears on Sunday. Um, you know what? I mean, give me the Texans.
Ooh, I'm gonna go Bears.
All right, you can go Bears. I'm just man, like the I don't want to quote Denny Smith here, or not Denny Smith, Denny Green, but the Bears are who we thought they were, bro. And Equinemius St. Brown is not a good target. And the guys that are supposed to be balling are not. The only guy that is David Montgomery, and we're not giving him enough touches. I swear to you, man. I thought we fired we fired Matt Nagy, right?
Yes,
Okay, because at times watching the game on Sunday night against Green Bay, I could have sworn Matt Nagy was still there.
and you know what? The opening drive was pretty good.
Yeah, and then what happened the rest of the game?
I don't know, man.
Yeah, well, we're used to that. Nagy would give you one drive a game too. That's not good enough.
You're never, ever, ever gonna forgive that guy.
No, he sucks. All right, anyways, speaking of, so Dak Prescott goes down. Cowboy fans are like, we're screwed. The season's over. In comes Cooper Rush, and I think everyone would pick the Bengals to win this game. The defending AFC champs. This team was in the Super Bowl last year, coming off a bad loss. You know they're gonna get it done, and they don't. Brett Maher kicks the game-winning 50-yard field goal, and the Cowboys win 20-17 over the Bengals. And Jamar Chase held to just 54 yards receiving. What's going on with the Bengals and their 0-2 start, bro?
Yeah, their offensive line, man.
I thought they fixed it though. They brought in like three big names.
I thought that they did too, but apparently not.
Yeah, and that was what held them back last year. Even though they went on that deep playoff run, got to the Super Bowl, that was what cost them the championship was the offensive line.
Yes.
What's wrong with it? They're just not protecting Joe?
Nah, and they need to start protecting them because it's only going to be a matter of time before one of them sacks is not going to end up in their favor.
Yeah, and it seems to be affecting the weapons too. Jamar Chase held to just 54 yards. He had Trayvon Diggs on him, but you know Burrow, I mean, Burrow's been kind of struggling too, and I think that you got to point to the line, but the Bengals have weapons everywhere. They're just not getting it done.
Yeah, I agree.
So, do you think it's fixable? I mean, they're at the Jets. I expect the Bengals to get a win.
Yeah, I don't think that the Jets defense is nowhere near as good as what the Cowboys defense was. So
And plus, they got Joe Flacco, so I don't anticipate the Jets putting up a ton of points. I mean, I hope so. Let me tell you what, if the Bengals fall to 0-3 and lose to the Jets, that place is going to be on fire.
yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's going to be an issue.
So we'll see. That's a big game. For the Cowboys, they're at the Giants on Monday night. How you feel about Cooper Rush? Did you see his highlights from that game? And I mean, really, he played pretty well. He made the throws when he needed to.
Yeah. And I don't know why the Cowboys fans were panicking at first because Cooper Rush last year, I believe there was a game he came in and didn't he win it?
He did, but I understand the panic. There's a big drop off between Dak Prescott and Cooper Rush. The fact that he beat the Bengals, I don't think anyone saw coming.
No,
So you
and
know,
I didn't panic because I believe Dallas has a championship defense. That defense they got is very scary.
their defense is playing very well, and if they can keep playing like that, especially when Dak gets back, they can get back in the hunt. They can still make the playoffs. I think Dak's gonna be back sooner than a lot of people think. So Cowboy fans shouldn't be panicking. No, and Cooper Rush is doing an excellent job.
Yeah, I agree.
Let's go. The Cardinals and Raiders. Raiders jump out to a 20-0 halftime lead, and the Cardinals come all the way back to tie it at 23 and force overtime. And the Raiders had multiple chances to stop either Kyler Murray and win the game or to score and win the game. Couldn't do either. And Hunter Renfro fumbles the ball in overtime. Byron Murphy picks it up and goes 59 yards for the game winning touchdown. I don't put much of this on the Cardinals, bro. The Raiders simply choked this game away.
Yeah, and man, talk about the hit from Isaiah Simmons to jar that ball loose. What a hit, man.
Yeah, yep. Um, and a great play. I love seeing game winning plays on defense, and touchdowns on defense. But if you're the Raiders, you have to finish that job. And to allow the Cardinals back into that, that's just inexcusable. And I'm starting to have my worries about the Raiders. They're out to an 0-2 start. I mean, I don't know. They better get it going. They're at the Titans on Sunday.
Yeah. Oh man.
There's a chance the Raiders are 0-3 after Sunday.
Well, you said they're at the Titans. To me, I don't think the Titans are really that good.
I mean, I think that's an overreaction to what you saw on Monday night. I think the Titans are better than that. Um, they've got weapons. I know it seems like they don't because they got rid of AJ Brown, but they got Derrick Henry still. They got Nick Westbrook Akina. They got Traylon Burks. If Tannehill can throw the ball to the right member of the team, then they got a shot. It wouldn't surprise me to see the Titans win that one.
Yeah. I uh man, I don't know, man. Tannehill just to me, I think it's time to start playing Malik Willis.
No, I think that's an overreaction. I don't think it's time to do Malik Willis yet. I think Tannehill is still talented, and I think he gets the win on Sunday over the Raiders, and the Raiders will be 0-3.
I'm
If
just
the Titans,
reacting all night tonight, huh?
who?
Me.
Well, It's just based on. I mean, it's easy to look at what the Titans did on Monday and say they suck. And if they lose to the Raiders and fall to 0-3, they might really suck. I don't think they're as bad as they played on Monday. And so I think they can get a win. I think the Raiders are shooting themselves in the foot more so than the Titans are, honestly.
Off subject for a minute. I thought about this theory. How crazy would it be if Indy and Tennessee was so bad that Jacksonville won the South?
Yeah. I mean, you never know. And that's coming, bro. Jacksonville's coming. They're going to be there soon. Trevor Lawrence is improving on you remember how good Peyton Manning went from year 1 to year 2?
Yeah, drastically.
And that's what I see. I mean, I might be overreacting to that. But when I look at Trevor Lawrence, I see superstar, like, and coming quickly. He can make any throw from any angle. He can run. He can use his legs to beat you. Underrated, athletic, and can make any throw, bro. He can do it all.
Mm-hmm.
So look, keep an eye on Jacksonville. Um, for the Cardinals, they're playing the Rams. Yeah, I think the Cardinals can get a win as well, and so the Rams might be 1-2. That's a very interesting game, Cardinals Rams.
Yeah, yep, I agree. It is.
Bears Packers on Sunday night. The way Green Bay looked in week 1 against the Vikings, it was like, I don't know how good this team is going to be this year. The Bears surprised everybody, beating the 49ers in a monsoon. So, there was some optimism from Bears fans going into this game. And the Packers do what they always do, take care of the Bears 27-10. Bears haven't won in Lambeau since 2015, so we got to figure that out. I mean, the Packers got no weapons, and they still torture us with Sammy Watkins. They find a way and get it done. Aaron Jones, I mean, I said this in the offseason. If the Packers are going to be competitive, Aaron Jones has to be a monster. And he went for 170 yards and 2 touchdowns. He's their best offensive weapon by far. Do you agree?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And man, if he can get going like that, the Packers can steal some games.
They can. They need Aaron Jones. They don't have it at receiver, so they need to get it out of the running back position.
And
My Go ahead.
I believe I've been hearing rumblings. Isn't Bakhtiari supposed to be back against Bucks?
Maybe there's been a lot of rumblings on Bakhtiari. He's damn close to being career ending. Like that injury, it's been 2 years, and even if he gets back on the field, he might not be the same guy. So it would be
Wow.
cool if we see him on the field, but that's a major injury that he's probably about done.
Yeah, that's a crazy injury then, man. That's sad.
Yeah, but I mean, he's had a good, great career, and he's been doing it for a long time. So I mean, eventually injuries catch up to everybody.
Yep.
My biggest gripe from the Bears is David Montgomery goes for 136 yards, but only 15 carries. And he started out strong in the first quarter, and they kind of went away from him. And I don't know if you noticed that, but why the hell, if you're running back, I think David Montgomery is the best weapon on the field, not named Justin Fields. If Montgomery is carrying you like that and dragging defenders every time he touches the ball, why are you going away from him? It's very, I don't know much about Luke Getzey, but when I see that, it reminds me of what Matt Nagy did with Montgomery. It reminds me of what Frank Reich's doing with Jonathan Taylor. You got to feed these guys.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Put the ball in the hands of your playmakers.
Yeah. And did you notice that? Did you see them take, David Montgomery is doing work and then they go away from him?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen it. A lot of a lot of teams this year, man. For some reason, you have to go with what you're feeling. Or
What's
not feel,
working?
but whatever's working. Yeah, exactly. If you're running the ball, it may be boring, and your quarterback may not get the stats he wants, but damn it, you're winning.
Yeah. I always grew up with this mindset with football. If it's working, keep doing it until the defense forces you to adjust. And if the defense can't stop it, keep running it down their throat the entire game. You know what I mean?
Yes, absolutely.
And so I don't understand that. And it's not like you're abandoning the run game for this elite, prolific passing game. So much so, the Bears are on pace and are off to a historically bad start in the passing game. Through 2 games, Dustin, the Chicago Bears have yet to pass for 200 yards.
Jeez.
Through 2 games. Um, Again, I was told Matt Nagy was fired, but it looks like he's still calling plays. Luke Getsy is out to a horrible start, and I was hearing this all off season from Bears Twitter. Is like Luke Getsy, Matt Nagy was so bad that Luke Getsy cannot be that bad, so he's gonna make Matt Nagy look even worse. And I'm just like, bro, we don't know that. Luke Getsy's never called offensive plays before. He's been a quarterback coach, and he's a rookie play caller. And we're seeing it, bro. We're not throwing the ball down the field. Everything's short. Nobody's getting open. Like I'm just supposed to automatically assume that Luke Getsy is going to be a hell of a play caller because he's not Matt Nagy. I've learned over my years, bro, that being a Bears fan, just because they got it wrong the past coaching staff doesn't mean they're going to get it right with this coaching staff, you know?
Yes.
And it's so frustrating, bro. I mean, what
Um,
do you see when you look at the Bears? Why are they so bad on offense? Justin Fields got the talent. David Montgomery is a hell of a running back. What's going wrong?
man, I'm starting to think maybe it's the lack of trust or it's the lack of trust the coaches have for Justin Fields.
I I mean, it looks that way, right? It looks like they don't trust him, like they're protecting him from himself. But I think it's a lack of weapons and a lack of. I think they don't trust the O line to protect Fields long enough for these big deep shots to play out. And then on top of that, I can't get over the fact that the cupboard is bare, bro. No pun intended. The Bears have no weapons. Who are their weapons? Nobody, bro. Like we're banking on. Everyone told me, well, at least we've got Darnell Mooney and Cole Kmet. Do you know what what their combined stats are through 2 weeks?
Cole Kmet has 0 receptions.
Yes, combined. Darnell Mooney and Cole Kmet combined 2 catches for 4 yards.
That's not going to get the job done.
Fuck no, it's not. That's terrible. That's terrible for one player, let alone two. And Darnell Mooney is supposed to be our number one wide receiver, and he's not. He's a solid number two. But when you put the Mooney at one, and so the defenses are preparing to stop Darnell Mooney, he's not getting open. He's not that guy. And you need a true number one so that Mooney can be your change of pace. Your another, go against quarter number two. And
Yep.
Cole Kmet, bro, I know he's from Notre Dame. I'm this close to wiping my hands of the whole Cole Kmet situation. This of all years was supposed to be the year, and 0 catches through 2 games, and you wonder why. It's like Jimmy Graham was past it, well past his prime, and Cole Kmet couldn't beat him out to be the number one tight end. Something's wrong there, and I'm starting to think Cole Kmet's a bust.
Wait, wait, didn't he play pretty good last year though?
No, he's always had flashes. He's had a game or two, but for an entire season, he's always underachieved.
Can I
And
say, um, maybe you're just overreacting a little bit? Maybe give the guy some time this year.
I mean, I'll give him he's on the Bears. I'll give him an opportunity, but I'm just saying, bro, if you look at it, we have no weapons. So of all times to step up, if you've got any talent at all, now's the time to flash, right? Equinemius St. Brown is getting targets. So if you're Cole Kmet and Darnell Mooney and the cupboard is bare, there's no talent, you should be carrying this offense, right? And
Yeah,
if
I
you're not, then maybe you just don't have it.
hear me out. I feel like there's only maybe the coaching staff again feels like there's only certain things they can do with Justin Fields that would make him be successful because maybe they feel personally that he can't, throw the bombs and everything and make the big plays. That's just how
Well,
I see it.
I would call bullshit. Like that. I mean, that's like what you see, or you're guessing it. Like maybe that's what's happening, and maybe so. I mean, it kind of looks that way with the play calling. I call it bullshit because I've seen Justin Fields do it. I've seen Justin Fields throw dimes, excellent, accurate as hell deep balls. I've seen him get out
Get up.
on the edge and throw dimes and throw the ball all over the field. And you need to ask him to do that. You want to see him throw the ball because if he throws it and is intercepted and turns the ball over, that's fine. How else are you going to learn as a young kid,
Yeah, I agree.
And the Bears don't have playoff expectations. So this year of all years is the time to let him loose and say, look, go out there and show us what you can do. Don't worry about the mistakes along the way. Just focus on improving week to week. And my thing is, it's not that it's like they're holding him back. And I don't know why. And I think it's because my personal thought is it's because of the lack of weapons around him. They know they don't have the guys, the Jimmys and Joes, to go against the opponents.
At the same time, though, that falls on them because they had the opportunity to go get those guys.
Yeah, and it's led Bears fans to become conspiracy theorists and this off season and early this year and thinking that maybe this management and coaching staff isn't all in on Justin Fields and is setting him up for failure because they want to go get their own guy this offseason. And so I hope not because Justin Fields got a ton of talent. And if this coaching staff and management can't figure it out, the Bears are teetering right now, bro. There's a lot of people that are like all optimistic and saying the Bears are building something. I think they're teetering. And if they don't figure this out with Fields, we're going to be rebuilding again in 3 years.
So, did you catch the comment on Monday night or Sunday Night Football by Chris Collinsworth where he said he had a message to Bears fans saying next year you guys are going to be good?
Uh, he can say that. He's saying that because we're going to have a lot of cap room. And so we can go spend money. But guess what? Cap room does nothing for you if you don't bring in the right guys. You know what I mean?
Yep, you're completely
You
right.
gotta you gotta spend that money wisely and on the right players. If you look at Jacksonville, they overpaid like crazy for Christian Kirk, and they got criticized for it. But Christian Kirk's being productive, and Trevor Lawrence is taking steps in the right direction, so they're not getting as much heat now. Um, but looking at the Bears' history and looking at what the Bears did this offseason, what leads me to be confident that they're going to spend the money the right way and bring in the right guys when they're going out here signing Equinemius St. Brown and Dante Pettis and these guys? You know what I mean?
Yeah, eventually they're going to have no choice to, man.
Yeah. And so I think they fucked up this offseason. They hired the wrong people. I'm not sold on Eberflus. I'm certainly not sold on Luke Getzey through 2 weeks. Our defense hasn't been elite so far this year, and that's what Eberflus's strength is. You yourself have said that Eberflus, you had beef with Eberflus before.
Well, yeah, because he never made halftime adjustments, during games when your defense is struggling. You keep calling the same damn plays and not making no type of adjustments at all.
Yeah. And so, I don't know Eberflus like that, so I can only go based on what I've seen so far. I don't I don't know yet on Eberflus, but I can tell you right now I'm very skeptical of Luke Getzey, the offensive coordinator.
Yeah,
And
I think Eberflus is going to be a good coach. It's just he needs the staff around him to be able to have the whole, every nook and cranny of the Bears to be good. Like maybe he should do a better job with hiring coordinators.
well, and if you need to delegate coordinators that well, this is my gut feeling on Matt Eberflus, and I said this about Cliff Kingsbury, Matt Nagy. I don't think Eberflus is going to be a shit head coach, but a lot of coaches are great coordinators and not great head coaches, right? And I
Yes.
think Eberflus might be one of those guys that can be a long-term defensive coordinator in this league, but might not be cut out to be a head coach. That's my gut. I can't say that with certainty yet. That's my gut feeling ever since we hired him.
Wow.
So I don't know, but terrible start. A lot of people were hype over that win against the 49ers. I wasn't. I felt like the monsoon played a big role. And we saw it on primetime TV in Lambeau that we still can't compete with Green Bay, and they don't have a lot of weapons either. So, um, Texans at Bears, bro. I mean, I'm going Texans.
Yeah.
So,
I'm gonna go Chicago.
all right, and then Packers at Bucks. I'm going Tampa.
I'm going Pack.
All right, then Monday night, the Bills absolutely blow out the Titans 41-7. Um, so absolutely everyone in the media is all over the Bills to go to the Super Bowl and even win it this year. Ricky G is one of them. Ricky G's on Twitter saying, "Look, my eye test says the Bills are the best and most complete team in football," and I get it. But and you believe the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Um, what about the Bills do you see that separates them from everyone else?
You know, I just think that they're more talented. They have the best quarterback in the league, in my opinion. Uh, they have the best defense in the league, in my opinion. They just
Uh,
have they just have everything there is to win a championship.
um, Now I agree that Josh Allen right now is, talent wise is right there with anybody. Um, but he's got to prove two things. If he matches up with the Chiefs in the playoffs, he has to prove that he can beat Patrick Mahomes. And then he has to prove that he can win the big game, that he can not only get to the Super Bowl, but win it once he's there. So those are the unknowns with Josh Allen and the Bills. Um, it's a long history of no championships in Buffalo. And we all know about the four straight trips and no Super Bowl, right?
Yes.
So, I mean, they could easily let's say the Bills get to the Super Bowl this year, but they lose. Are Bills fans gonna be happy with that? I don't think so.
No, they're not. Not at all.
So, it's championship or bust. And are you worried at all? The Bills have started the season so well. They're the best team in football, and they look amazing. Are you worried at all about the Bills peaking early in the season and not playing their best football late?
No, I'm not. I don't have one worry about this Bills team. Like I said, man, I think they're pretty good.
I think it's too early. And as of right now, give me the field. This is everyone's all in. Everyone wants to crown the Buffalo Bills the 2022 champions, and then they want to crown the Georgia Bulldogs the 2022 champions. I got nothing against these two teams. I like Georgia. I like Buffalo. I'm just saying, as of right now, give me the field. I don't think either of these teams win the championship.
Yeah.
So that's my take. Um, the Bills, I mean, you know, they're going to be the favorites, absolutely. But if they match up against the Chiefs, if they match up against, um, maybe it's just the Chiefs, maybe Baltimore. Maybe if they match up against the Ravens in the playoffs, maybe the Bengals if they pull it together. I don't know. We'll see. Um, the Titans fall to 0-2. Derrick Henry held to just 25 yards and a touchdown. It's funny. You look at AJ Brown leaves the Titans and they're 0-2 and they look bad. AJ Brown joins the Eagles and they're 2-0 and they look great. Doesn't that just show you the amount of impact that a superstar wide receiver can have on a team?
Absolutely.
And we saw it last year with Jamar Chase. Rookie Jamar Chase comes in and the Bengals go to the Super Bowl.
Yep.
And so I think now that number one beast of a wide receiver that you can just is a go-to number one option is very important. And if you don't have him, you're going to struggle. And I think that's why Green Bay is going to take a step back. And that's why, Buffalo, ever since the Bills got Stephon Diggs, Josh Allen's game has really taken a step forward.
Yeah, I agree.
And you were all over Jalen Hurts balling out with A.J. Brown, right?
Yeah, I mean, he is really, bro.
Yeah. I mean, Philly is so much better. And it's not just that you're going to go to A.J. Brown and he's going to make every play. Him being that big of an impact weapon and being on the field takes eyes off of the rest of the guys and allows the other guys to get more open as well.
Yes, I agree.
So, Eagles at Commanders, that's a good game. Vikings Lions, Vikings fall to 1-1. Kirk Cousins looked terrible against the Eagles. 3 interceptions. I didn't know that Darius Slay was on the Vikings because Kirk Cousins seemed to be feeding him the ball, huh?
Yeah, and do you know Kirk Cousins is 2-10 on Monday Night Football?
Wow. Yeah, he played really bad. I expected him to get it going at some point, but he just couldn't. He had multiple short fields, multiple opportunities to get Minnesota back in that game, and just couldn't. A lot of people are all over the Eagles. Do you see the Eagles as a Super Bowl contender?
I see them as being a really, really good football team. I don't know about Super Bowl contender because they'd have to go through, the Rams and
The
the Bucks.
Bucks.
I just
Yeah.
don't think that they're on the Bucks level yet.
Yeah, I could in my mind I can visualize like a Eagles Bucks NFC Championship game this year. But if that's the case, give me Tampa Bay. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So, but I like what the Eagles are doing. They're definitely trending in the right direction, and it all starts with winning that division. And so we'll see if the Cowboys can keep pace. But Philly's out to a great start at the Commanders on Sunday, so a chance to get to 3-0. So good shit, bro. Did you have fun? I mean, it was fun to talk some NFL. I can't wait for Week 3. Steelers at Browns tomorrow night.
yeah. Steelers Browns, man, big divisional game, and we're gonna see a lot of hard hitting and maybe emotions flare. I mean, it seems like every time Pittsburgh plays Cleveland, somebody's you know
Yeah,
going crazy.
absolutely. And Mike Tomlin hasn't had a losing record as head coach of the Steelers. He doesn't want to fall to 1-2, so I think he's going to have his team ready to go against their division rival to avoid going under 500.
Yeah, man, that is still incredible to think, dude. You have not had a losing season, and you've been dealing with an old Ben Roethlisberger, and
Yeah,
you
a lot
know,
of change. Yeah. But so we'll see. I mean, if you can get it done with Mitch Trubisky, that'd be really impressive as well. So can't wait for Steelers at Browns. Good shit as always, Dustin. Great episode, and can't wait for Week 3.
yeah, man. Me neither. Go Indy, man. Pull it off. Come on.
Yep. Hopefully the Bears don't embarrass themselves and get a win over Lovey Smith and the Texans. So good shit, bro. Appreciate all the support, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment. Let us know what you think. Stay tuned for episodes coming out all season long. Have a great week, guys. Peace out.